Swami Ishwarananda yesterday gave all of us a homework. I assume everybody did some. It is always important to reflect upon the lecture so that we can remember. The only way we can remember to apply it if we reflect upon it. So today we'll find out what surprises Swamiji has for us. Today's generous sponsors are Amar Sharma and Rekha Sharma, they have been with Chinmaya Mission longer than I have been. They are very regular devotees. The next sponsors are Meenakshi and Ravindra Baliga. And one thing you can count on them, other than being a long-term devotee, is whenever there is an opportunity for sponsorship, they're the first one. Mamta Katare, she is a long-term devotee and very close to Swamiji. And in our study group, she is not here as well today. And the last but not the least is someone I happen to know, Meera Gandhi. She's been with Swamiji for the last 20 odd years. She's not here as well today. So all of the sponsors, Swamiji will light a lamp for all of them. And can I have a big hand for the sponsors, please? And please follow the basic rules. If you are not well, please refrain from coming to the ashram. I think that applies more to those who are not here. But let's take common sense precautions. Thank you. Please come. Please light it here.
This is waiting for you.
Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti. This is a very nice book, all of you should have. It's called Vignettes of Resilience. This is for how to say the soothing words to people who grieve. What are the things that they may have as questions when somebody is dead, somebody departed? So this will give you the healing words. So that's the book.
All the greedy are taken on behalf of Meera. Thank you.
गाये गणपति जगवंदन शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन गाये गणपति जगवंदन सिद्धि सदन गजवदन विनायक सिद्धि सदन गजवदन विनायक कृपा सिंधु सुंदर सबलायक कृपा सिंधु सुंदर सबलायक गाये गणपति जगवंदन गाये. You need this also? This also? मोदक प्रिय मुद मंगलदाता मोदक प्रिय मुद मंगलदाता विद्यावारिधि बुद्धि विदाता गाये गणपति जगवंदन मांगत तुलसीदास कर जोरे मांगत तुलसीदास कर जोरे बसह राम सिय मानस मोरे सिय मानस मोरे बसहि राम सिय मानस मोरे बसहि राम गाये गणपति जगवंदन शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन गाये गणपति जगवंदन जगवंदन ओम गम गणपतये नमः 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 ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्. We chant the first 4 verses. श्रीरामाय नमस्तुभ्यं कृपया तव शक्यते सुखेनाभ्यसितुं लब्धं ज्ञानं दैनिकजीवने वेदान्तदर्शनं शुद्धं प्रत्यक्षानुभवं परं सर्वदा येनुतिष्ठन्ति प्राप्यते तैर्ध्रुवं पदम्. नाहङ्कारो मनो बुद्धिः देहो नाहं कदाचन इति वेदान्तवाक्यस्य भावश्चिन्त्य पुनः पुनः तेषामात्मत्वमात्रं हि निरस्तमिह नास्तिता योजनीयाश्च तस्मात्ते व्यवहारे विवेकतः. मैं देह नहीं हूं ऐसा समझ के आप नहीं जीव सकते हो. You cannot think I am not the body and still live in this world. On the other hand, I am not the body only. This physical body is an abode, a vehicle in which I remain and function in this world of transaction. Ahankaraha tadatmya rupaha. What is ahankar? What is ego? Ego is identification with something other than who you are or what you are. And our ego is also of many kinds. Somebody's ego about one's profession. There is ego about one's country, ego about one's religion. or one's family, or one's own education, one's physical beauty. So many different types of egos are there. But the underlying principle of ego is what? Identification with something. This is called tadatmya. Tad atma iti bhava tadatmya. That is what is me. So what is said to be here be done by a person who wants to practice Vedanta is, I am not just the body. Physical body is given to me, human body, and I need to effectively use for my journey. Bhagavan ne diya. When you look at all other living beings who continuously live under fear, is it not true? Every living being other than human, including human, of course, but the way animals live is constant insecurity. They don't have choice. Whereas we, as human beings, are given this great opportunity to discriminate, differentiate, and live intelligently. And that is because, as human, man hai, to aap human hai. Mind, that's what makes a man different from all other living beings. Therefore, in the next verse it is said, Naradeha punya praptaha. Next, further up. Sarvabhutahite sada nishreyasi cha yoktavyaha sarveshe chadi premataha Naradeha punya praptaha sarvabhutahite sada nishreyasi cha yoktavyaha sarveshe cha adipremataha punyena praptaha naradeha. पुण्य कर्म करने से आपको ये नरदेह मिला है. You got this human body not by chance, by choice. Not you made the choice. The past good deeds have accumulated into your physical body as a human being. So one will wonder, when did I do the good deeds as an animal? मैंने कुछ किया? What good deed I did as a dog or a cat or a buffalo to become a human being? One will wonder that. Can the animal do good things to become human? This is where you need to understand that we have gone through many cycles of evolution. Many cycles of evolution. Human body is a balance of punya and papa. When you have more punya than papa, then you are a devata. You become a divine soul. Where you have done more papa than punya, then you are an animal, the lowest being, a stavara, a plant or a tree. As a plant or a tree, as an animal, you have no chance of doing good things. Please understand the logic carefully. As an animal, you can't do a good thing. Not even you can do a bad thing. Anyways, you do. or what bad thing you can do. No. So when the good and bad become equal, you are a human. In the human body, you have given a chance to do good or bad. If you do only the bad things, then what happens? Bad is become overpowering than the good. So when you die, you become an animal. To the extent of bad thing you did, to that extent you will become a lower form of living. In the Muda Yoni, as a lower form of existence, you can't do anything. Therefore, you suffer the deeds of the bad nature in that life. And when you, as you suffer the consequences of your bad actions, the bad slowly balances to become inhuman. And then if you realize that this is a chance I've got, right? So then you do good things, then the balance on the other side. As a devata, as a, one who is eligible to go to heaven. That's what people do on rituals, etc. So that they get the punya. So the punya prapti, then you go to heaven. And interesting thing is, waha, in the heaven, you can't do anything good, nor you can do anything bad. So what happened? You experience the results of good deeds. Heavenly existence. Because there is no karma involved in, except in human world, there is no other world where you can do karma. So in heavenly existence, you enjoy the pleasures. Kshine, punye. When the punya become kshina, decayed, then what will happen? Again, human. Now, for human body is where you have a choice to do. Such way Bhagavan Krishna says in Gita, Urdhvam gachanti sattvastaha madhye tishtanti rajasaha jaganya guna vrittastaha adho gachanti tamasaha. Tamas tendencies will take you down. Sattvic tendencies take you up. Status quo. Human birth. In the human birth also, there are levels of existence. Somebody who is very mature, as I said yesterday, spontaneously good. Whereas we have to struggle to become good. So, Naradeha, human body, is punya praptaha in the sense that where you have already exhausted your papa through living as an animal, you have already exhausted your punya through living in the heavens, whatever, where in both the situations you cannot do any action. So therefore, here is the place where either you can do papa and go down, or you can do the punya and further go up and again experience heaven and come back again, or come out of both. Moksha. मोक्ष मार्ग में नेदर पाप है नार पुण्य. पुण्या पुण्य विवर्जित पंतः इन बजगो योगी योग नियोदित चित्तः. In the human body, when you decide to liberate, you don't anymore engage in papa or punya. For doing papa or punya, both will have result. If you write an exam, there will be result. Yes or no? When you write an exam, the exam result will be either you pass or you fail. If you don't write, then failure. If you write, perhaps you may pass. What is the best way to do? Take sannyas. Neither you do papa nor punya. Punya apunya vivarjita panta. So moksha marge, in the path of liberation, neither punya is there nor papa is there. Nachiketa asked this question to Bhagavan. Death. Tell me that which is beyond dharma and adharma. Anyatra dharmat, anyatra adharmat. Tell me that path or state where there is no idea or even the notion of dharma and adharma. Means what? Neither punya nor papa. But this physical body is therefore a gift. Naradeha punya praptaha. And what is that then, therefore, you should do in this world? Sarvabhuta hite sada. Remain engaged in doing what is good for others, not for yourself. In all our activities, first thing we ask is, what is it for me? Isn't it? Anything you take up, first question is, kya milega mujhe? Stop that. As a human being, if you want to evolve and become liberated, do not ask this question, what is it for me? The moment you ask, what is it for me, then you evaluate good, bad, right, wrong. If you are a person who is continuously doing only sinful actions, you cannot think like this. One who has reached a state of sattva alone would know how to go beyond sattva. Therefore, most of our dharma shastras will tell you to do good, not get stuck there. Because only by doing good, your mind becomes pure enough to go beyond that. And what is that going beyond means? Nothing is for me. Sarva bhuta hite sada nishreyasi mokshe yoktavyaha. Nishreyas means moksha. Ever steadfastly engage in seeking freedom, which means what? Neither punya nor papa, because both are subject to make you come back. One is an iron cage, another is a golden cage. Both are equally captivating and capturing you, whether it's an iron cage or a golden cage. पुण्य करने से मोक्ष मिलेगा नहीं, स्वर्ग मिलेगा आपको. You will get swarga or heavenly experiences, but not moksha, but not liberation. Liberation is only when you know both papa and punya, both are equally bondage. But by doing the good actions, punya karma, you will have the ability to rise beyond that. So therefore, nishreyasicha yoktavyaha. And how should this, therefore, one should engage in the path of liberation? Sarva ishe cha adipremataha. by having absolute love for the Lord. Ati premata, with love for the Lord. See, when we want to purify anything, let us say this carpet is dirty. What do you use? Soap or a detergent or some chemical. Whether you use soap or detergent or any chemical to clean this carpet, it won't get cleaned unless you use water. Again, with the soap, you add water and clean this. And after having applied soap, you further clean it up with pure water. Yes, that's what you do, right? Those who are washing their own clothes will know it. Don't ask the men folk. Or you are cleaning your floor. Not only you use the chemical, and then finally you have to clean up with water. Without the water, you cannot. In the same way, any sadhana that you take up, the major, most important ingredient in all sadhanas is love. Love for the Lord. That's why Bhagavan Shankaracharya said, Moksha sadhana samagryam bhaktireva gariyasi. In all the spiritual practices, devotion excels. जब करते रहो, जब devotion, it will become a mechanical engagement. Like any such practices for moksha you have to do, it must have sarveshe ati premataha. With the love for the Lord, you should do it. You know, when you do something with love, you never get tired. Huh? That is the very secret of it. When you do unwillingly because you are forced to do it and you are asked to do it, you do half-heartedly or quarter-heartedly. You are not able to participate in it fully. When you do it with love, you don't look for a return. When you don't look for what is in for me. So therefore, this human birth is a gift to you. What is human birth means? Not only the physical aspect of it, but the inherent intelligence, ability to think and act, and ability to think and become free. Naradeha punya praptaha sarva bhutahite sada nishrasniyasi yoktavyaha, to be engaged. Sarveshe atipremataha. Who is then God here? I have to be loving. Which God? Swamiji, Krishna, Ram, Shiv. Who? Sarvaishe. Which form you take. Understand, whichever form you are worshipping or loving must be regarded as highest. If you go to Skanda Puran, Skanda is Brahman. If you go to Ganesha Puran, Ganesha is Brahman. If you go to Shiva Puran, Shiva is Brahman. Vishnu Puran, Vishnu is Brahman. Now, whichever Purana that particular deity is Brahman. Tvamevat pratyaksham brahmasi, tvam jnanamayo vijnanayosi, sarvam kalu idam tatto jayate, in Ganapati Adarvashisha. You are Brahman. Brahma Vishnutvam Rudrastvam Indrastvam Agnisvam Yasvam Chandrakam Brahma Bhurbhuvasvaro. So Ganesha is considered as Brahman. So whichever be the deity that you take up, bring him to the highest pedestal. Sarva Isha. So don't fight, therefore. Oh, Krishna is the Brahman. No. For Krishna Bhakta, Krishna is Brahman. Shiva Bhakta, Shiva is Brahman. Sarveshe ati premataha. Great love. So the human body is therefore, as earlier said, don't reject. It's the vehicle, we are given special vehicle. Continuing here. Anishtam mishram cha modi manavaha krita karmanuru sarena samatvam teshu dharayet. Anishtam mishram cha phalam prapnoti manava krita karmanusarena samatvam teshu dharayet. Phalam, result of any action, can have three different possible results. Anishtam, undesirable. Ishtam, desirable. Mishram, mixed. No result is exclusive. Exclusively good, very rare. Exclusively bad is also very rare. Some part of it is good, some part of it is bad. Do you like your husband? Sort of. Some aspect of him I like. Some part I can't tolerate. One lady was asked, when your son is making any mistake, you easily forgive him. But when your husband is making mistake, you are not able to tolerate that. He is from the other family. So any action that you do, result is unavoidable. Whether the result will be according to your liking or dislike, you cannot decide that. If we are able to decide our result, nobody will be a failure. If we can decide the result, nobody will be a failure. But why, in spite of the fact that we do the best, still we are not able to get what we want? Because the result is not decided by your action alone. Karturajnaya prapyate padam karma kim param karma tajjadam. Karma jada hai. It cannot decide the result. Action doesn't decide the result. Action is an agent, not the master. The master is God only. Bhagavan, who bestows the appropriate result for the person according to his action, which he did now, also the action he did in the past. Not what you do alone decide the results. What you did also decides the results. Let me give an example. You have been bad to a person for a long time. And you have not met that person for a long time. In the past, you have done something wrong to that person. And you changed. And when you happen to meet the same person after some time and you smile, what do you think? Do you think you will smile back? you know what are the things you did to me? At the present moment, your action is what? Being good to that person. But what is the result? Your past influences this point. Right? Swamiji, I have been doing exercise. I'm not losing my weight at all. How long have you been doing the exercise? For the past 2 days. Until then, you are gluttonous. And 2 days you do the exercise, you expect the result. So what you did in the past has an effect in the present or not, even though you're doing the right thing. It applies everywhere. It includes not only the past of this life alone. That is another strange thing. If unknown past, which you can't even determine how fast it is. Therefore, as Gurudev would say, do the best, leave the rest, because you cannot decide what is happening. But that doesn't mean you should not do the right thing now. So, anishtam, undesirable. Ishtam, desirable. Mishram, mixture. Anishtam, ishtam, mishram cha trividam karmana palam. Gita. Here, that is what is given in this. Anishtam, ishtam, mishram cha palam prapnodi manava. How, therefore, decided the result is decided? Krita karma anusarena. Krita karma. Whatever is done in the past, kritam, the past, what is completed, karma, action, anusarena, accordingly. That's why in Hindi you say shukriya. Actually, Sanskrit word, sukriya, good deed. Shukriya. Shukriya is not, it's Sanskrit. You did good. Thanks. You know, how would you say thanks in Hindi? Dhanyavad is welcome. What do you mean? Then, dhanyavadaha, meaning what? That's what you translate it as. Shukriya. What you did is good. Thank you. Dhanyavadaha is another, you can say that, it's parallel to that, but dhanyavadaha by itself is not thanks. So, whatever you did in the past, kritam, sarvam, krita karmana sarena, along according to the past action. Therefore, whatever that result that comes to you, samatvam teshu dharayet. Keep your mind equanimous. Bhagavan Krishna says in Gita also, Sukadukke same krutva labha alabho jaya jayo. So yuddhaya yuddhasva naivam papam avapsyasi. Hey Arjun, whatever be the result that comes to you, good or bad, success or failure, joy or sorrow, maintain equanimity. Because if you are lopsided, either you will be disappointed or you will be overjoyed and lose balance. Over-excitement is also imbalance. Over-depression is also imbalance. And then you say, I'm good for nothing and useless. Anything I do, I'm failing. That's one hand. On the other hand, oh, nobody like me. Both will lead you to trouble. Sukha dukkhe, sukham cha dukkam cha sukha dukkhe. Labha alabhau, labhascha alabhascha tesham. Thau, both conditions retain balance. Maintain that equanimity. Even our physical body is constantly balancing itself when you're walking, right? You put the right foot and then the left foot, and then the right foot and the left. So you're actually balanced. And you're standing, you're balancing both. In the same way, mind needs to constantly balance itself. Yes, there are good things. Yes, there are bad things. Yes, there are disappointments. Yes, there are successes. But I'm not going to be swayed by these two. If you're in the boat again, you have to be balancing. Anywhere you lose balance, you drown. In life as well. Therefore, samatvam, in Bhagavan Krishna says in Gita, samatvam yoga uchyate, neutral. What is the taste of your tongue? Tell me. What is the smell of your nose? What is the color of your eyes? If the taste of my tongue is bitter, then anything I eat will become bitter. Why the tongue is tasteless? Why the nose is smellless? Why the eyes are colorless? If only your eyes are colorless, you can watch all the colors. Only when the tongue is tasteless, you can taste everything correctly. Only when the nose is smellless, you can smell everything properly, right? In the same way, mind must have no pollution. It should remain neutral. Then you can understand situations without any prejudice. That's the very secret of samatvam. If I have to see everything as a fact, I must keep a neutral attitude. Otherwise, I will be hastily judging everybody around me by the look of that person, by the caste or color or a creed or the faith or the region or the religion. And such mind cannot find any joy anywhere because constantly engaged in judging people, good or bad, right and wrong, etc. So therefore, krita karmanusarena anishtam ishtam mishram cha palam prapyati manavaha samatvam teshu dharayet, maintain. Swamiji, are you talking Vedanta or something else? See, I told you, this textbook, even though is Vedanta, but it is made simple, practical. Right? Katin hai. Is it difficult? No, it is only practical. Continuing. Yasmadrutena kinchana kriyate karma manavaihi tanmana kalpana rupam yojyatam savadanatah yasmat hrude cha kinchana kriyate karma manavaihi tanmana kalpana rupam yojyatam savadanatah. Now, one step further we go. Actions we do according to our thoughts. Why are you here? Thought about it. That's why you're here. And your husband never thought about it. That's why he's not here. So our actions are decided by what we think. Now let me tell you one thing. You had your dinner. When you had your dinner, it's an action you did. Putting the food on the plate and had your food. Okay. Having had your food, going into your stomach, do you have to think about it? But there is an action going on of digestion. So do you have to think about it? Involuntarily it is going on. Correct? Whether you think or not, it is going to do it. Just by thinking about it, it doesn't go faster. Or not thinking about it, it will not become slow. Because it is irrespective of your thought, it is going to happen. That's the nature of the body, Prakriti. Don't disturb me today. I just had my dinner. I'm thinking about it. No, you don't need to do that. As Gurudev would say, therefore, karma is what you think and do. Breathing. Are you thinking? If you stop, that doesn't happen. Breathing is going on its own. Even when you're sleeping, it is going on. Whereas karma is that which is possible only when there is a thinking. And thinking means movement of awareness. Thought is the movement of awareness. Where there is a subject, there is an object. A thought includes a subject and an object. I'm seeing you. That means I, the subject, is engaged in seeing as an action of you, the subject, object. Right? I'm talking. I, the subject, is talking, is the action, to you as the object. Some people, I'm talking with nobody. Then there is a problem. One lady said to the doctor, my husband goes to the garden and starts talking. So she felt so nervous about it. He's just talking to the plants. What do I do now? COVID times. So the doctor said, talking is fine. Make sure it is not a conversation. Because Vinod thought it is cold, he is doing that action of controlling the AC. Correct or not? He is not responding to me. So any action, see, now all of us have to suffer. No, just joking. So every action is preceded by a thought. That is what is called action. Whereas activity happens. Thinking is an action, not an activity. Whereas breathing is not an action, it is an activity. Digesting is an activity. Hearing is activity or action? Who said activity? Hearing. Is it an action or an activity? Those who think it is an activity are not hearing. Guru used to say, okay, there is a difference between hearing and listening. When you put your mind, you listen. When you don't put your mind, you hear. Because ears are open, they will hear only. Activity means that which you don't put thought into it. Action is that where you put thought into it. So hearing, and if you want to say hearing or listening, if I connected both as one part. So when you are not involved, it is an activity where you are putting your mind into it. It's an action. So you are sitting there and what are you doing? An activity or action? Action. And as I said, any thought must have two aspects to it, the subject and the object. Subject is same, object differs. I remaining the same. I am seeing, I am hearing, I am sitting, I am smelling, I am walking, I. Right? In the absence of that I, can there be an action? Yasmat rite, in the absence of which na kinchana kriyate karma. Manavai, by the men, by the human, no action is accomplished without the presence of I. Rite means in the absence of, yasmat of which, in the absence of which action can be done by the human beings. Tad manaha, that is called mind. Tad manaha, that is called the mind. So mind begins with I. Because as soon as you wake up from your sleep, first thing comes what? I. Hungry I am, because yesterday night I didn't eat. So the moment the I starts in the morning, it immediately identifies with physical body. Until then also you are hungry, but you don't even notice that. Why? Mind is not there. And the mind, I thought arises, the moment it arises, immediately it identifies with, immediate identification takes place with body. I'm hungry. Or if you have gone fighting with your husband or wife previous night, as soon as you wake up is what? Continue the battle. I am angry. Until then, if she was next to you only, sleeping, your head touching her head, even though you fought so intensely previous night. Next morning when you're, how dare. So when the mind was absent, no action takes place. Mind being vrittirupo hi manaha. Mind is nothing but continuous flow of thoughts. Therefore, kalpana rupam, vritti rupam, thought form. Savadhanatah yojyatam. Think about it. Understand. So who are you? Not just the physical body you are, though you have a human body, the human body is endowed with the ability to think. That means you are having a mind. And what is mind? That which is behind all actions. Other living beings also use their mind, but not for any creative activity. It cannot initiate a new thought. It is always reactions. A dog, when it is hungry, it will eat. When it is not hungry, it won't eat. Whereas you go to a party, gulab jamun is there, even though your stomach is absolutely full. Kal nahi milega. Aaj hi le lo. A dog doesn't do that. Or take it home and put it in the fridge. Will the dog do that? No planning. Because it doesn't think about it. Human beings always planning, scheming. So that manaha, that is mind which is engaging in karma. Yasmat ritena kinchana kriyate karma manavaihi. In whose absence action cannot be accomplished by human beings. Tad manaha kalpana rupam. That is called mind, which is in the form of thoughts. Yojyatam savadanataha. So it is to be handled with great caution. Why? Because your own thought will definitely become action even as you don't notice it. What thought that comes to your mind, you have to be careful about that. That is the reason why in our Shastra, the prayer is what? Badram karne vishrunuyama devaha. May I listen what is auspicious. Badram pashyema akshabihi yajatraha. May I see what is auspicious. Isn't it? Because what you hear, what you see form the thought. Most of our thoughts are decided by what you hear and what you see. That's why audio visual is very important. Gurudev used to say, these two things you have to be careful. What you smell, what you taste, what you touch would not create as much deep impression as much as what you see and what you hear does. So savadhanataha, very carefully handle the mind, because you alone will be able to decide what is there in your mind, what should be there in your mind. Don't allow others to do that. So if others are doing that act of what should be in your mind, you are a victim of the situation, right? So what thoughts arise in your mind, you should be carefully watching. Because even an unnoticed thought will become an action at some point of time. Let us say I have spoken very bad about X to Y. About X to Y. The Y listened to it. He doesn't know X, but he learned about X. Actually, when he meets X, what happens? Immediately there is a clouding in the mind. This fellow, even though you are meeting for the first time, is it not true that you have been told about this person? So what thought would arise in your mind? What you are not created yourself, but you heard it, and that starts influencing your behavior towards that person. Correct? In the negative way I'm talking about. If I have talked positively about X to you, again, when you meet that X, you will have respect, reverence. Why? Thought has gone in. Even at that point of when you're hearing, you may not do an action on that, but eventually it will lead to a consequence. That is the reason why we give so much importance to giving the right knowledge to the children. When they are young, they may not meet the challenges that the adults do, and when they become adults, these thoughts will help them. What we learn when they are young. Because what they hear and what they observe or they what see, they decide the thoughts. Therefore, exposure to the right thinking, even if it is not done by the parents, must be given to them exclusively in a place where they are learning. So the mind is influenceable. So therefore, handle carefully. Savdhan se, savdhan se. There was a Maharashtrian saint who was about to get married, and in Maharashtra there is a tradition. Just before you are marrying anybody, they will say, Savdan, Savdan. It's a tradition. Shivaji's teacher, Sri Rama, right? What is it? Ramatirtha, right? I think so. He ran away from that place. Ramdas. When the priest said, Savdan, Savdan, eat jam. The priest cautioned him, before you get married, be careful. That's why I stopped going to all marriages, because the bride and bridegroom, one of them start looking at me. I think it's better to be like him, And that is why in the marriage they make such a sound and music and all. The boy should not think. If we start thinking even a moment, he would be relieved from a great mistake. Anyway, no matter. Boy or a girl, why should I be prejudiced? Vishaya Sakti Rupena Mano Bandhanakarakam Ishwararpita Rupena Tanmano Mukti Sadakam Vishaya Sakti Rupena Mano Bandhanakarakam Ishwararpita Rupena Tanmano Mukti Sadakam. Bandhana Karanam Moksha Karanam Mukti Sadakam. Mukti Sadakam, that enables, paves way for Mukti. What? Ishvara Rupena, Ishwararpita Rupena Manaha, mind dedicated to the Lord is easy path towards freedom. On the other hand, Vishaya Sakti Rupena, if it is attached to the objects of the world, Manaha Bandhana Karanam, bondage. We are not physically bound actually with anything. Our attachments is not physical. If you say, I'm attached to my wife, what? You put a Fevicol or something, or some page and you get attached to her. It's not the mind, associated thoughts. One person said, me and my wife were so happy for 25 years. And then we met. Before. So what is that? Attachment means association of thoughts. When the thoughts come, if you once in a while, like Vedanta, you'll never get attached to it. Or Bhagavan, only when you go to the temple. And you are not attached to God. But dog, my God. There are people who are more attached to dog even than all other family members. Even others may starve, but my dog has to eat. So when we get attached, what they mean by getting attached means the repetition of thought is too often. Then it is called attachment. So when we are dealing in the world, very many things that we come to have, experiences. But if some of the thoughts related to objects are coming too often to our mind, without even triggered by the world, then understand that attachment is too strong. If you look at something and get attached to it, is okay. But even without looking at the things, mentally you are constantly engaging in that, is a dangerous one. That is what is called addiction. How an action become an addiction? You cannot live without it. Is it not? All people who are addicted to anything, they were not born with that. Eventually, over a period of time, when they started to engage and found pleasure in that, and thereafter, after some time, they just cannot leave it. Then that is called asakti, attachment. So it is not physical, but it will express as a physical form. That is the reason why in our Shastra, very often they say, engage in tapas. What does it mean? Remain in the absence of those things which you think that you cannot live without for a while. Find out whether you can. Try. Once you are able to live without those things which you are so dependent upon, you know you are the master. So, asakti, vishayasakti rupena manaha bandhana karanam. Meaning, what is bondage? The world decides your joys and sorrows. That is bandhana. Bondage. The world of objects and beings and situations decide the state of your mind. That is bondage. Whereas you decide, irrespective of the external situation or anything else, that is freedom. Swatantram. So, if you are unable to control the state of your mind, decided by the situations and beings around you, then it is bondage. It's like a person who is bound by rope or anything. He or she cannot do anything unless somebody else comes and releases it. Is it not? That is what is called bondage in the worldly sense. That means what? Somebody has to decide whether I should be free or not. One Mahatma has said that by the time we are born and start to become adult, we have distributed our remote control to everybody around us. Cry. No, cry. Come on. They say something, you start crying. They press another button, you start becoming angry. That's why Gurudev said, don't put your key to your happiness in somebody else's pocket. Let them not be the deciding factor. You decide. Can you be unhappy unless you wish to? Huh? If you are unhappy, that is your choice, not somebody else's. But obviously, we do not want to be unhappy. So if you are happy because of someone, that is bondage. You are happy unnecessarily. That is called freedom. When you walk around after the class or go to a mall, for example, go out into the mall. What is that place here? Some Brampton Mall, whatever. And you just smile. People around you will start looking at you strangely. What's wrong with this person? And your own friend who comes by will ask the question, why are you smiling? You should say, for no reason. Oh, because I'm happy. Who can stop me? What is the motto of Balvihar according to Gurudev? Keep smiling. Isn't that true? No reason. And therefore, only when you become free of all the entanglements around, nobody should decide whether I should be happy or not. Then alone, you are in the moksha marga. Therefore, it is said, Ishvara arpita rupena, that can happen only when you do not worry about what happens. Uska kaam hai, wo karta hai. Bas. I do everything to him and he decides what happens to me. I am not deciding, nobody else decides here. Ishvara arpita rupena tat manaha. Here, Ishvara does not mean a person. I have done my best. The world, Bhagavan is like in the form of the world. He decides. Whatever has happened, I am ready to accept whatever comes. And that doesn't decide my happiness. I happily do and I happily accept what happens. But I will always do the best. So, Ishwararpita Rupena Tanmano Mukti Sadhakam. Ishwararpitam na Ichaya Kritam Chitta Shodakam Mukti Sadhakam. Right? It's a way to become free. Now, Swamiji, this Ishvara you are talking about, where is he? Who is he? Now, therefore, tasmat sada hi dhyatavyam sadakena prayatnatah mano me shiva sankalpam astu te kripaya prabho. Tasmat sada hi dhyatavyam sadakena prayatnatah mano me shiva sankalpam astu te kripaya prabho. Tasma, therefore, sadakena, by a spiritual seeker, prayatnat, with lot of effort, dhyatavyam, to be thought of, to be meditated on. What? Me manaha, my mind, shiva sankalpamastu. May it abide by the order of the Lord. Shivasya sankalpam. Tava kripaya, te kripaya, by your own grace, O Lord. We are incapable of letting go of anything with anybody. That is the problem of the human pride. I should dictate and decide everything. If you have that kind of a mind, you will be the most miserable person in this world. For example, have you ever tried to make any person happy continuously? Can you make anybody in this world continuously happy by your efforts? If you try to do that, you will be the most failure. Isn't it? You know the reason? Why? Because even myself, I'm not able to make myself continuously happy. How can I make somebody else's mind happy? People often ask me this question, Swamiji, can you read the mind? Arey Baba, mere mind, this mind itself I'm not able to handle. Why should I take your mind also into this? Even I myself cannot decide my happiness. How can I decide your happiness? The best way to make everybody happy, you know what it is? You be happy. When you discover your happiness, people around you will have to be happy only. What else? Some people become jealous. Let them be. A happy child is what everybody wants to hold on to, right? If a child is crying all the time, one boy asked the mother, this little one, Where you said it came from heavens, right? God gave from the heaven. No, God did not give. He kicked him out. Continuously crying. If a person is constantly coming and complaining to you, would you like that person's company? That's why in this country, when you go anywhere, airport or what do they say? Have a nice time. Have a great day. Right? What do they say? Have a good day. One day Gurudev was going to some place in the airport, and after having finished the checking in, etc. So that person in the back and that account, have a nice day. Gurudev turned to him, how? That person never expected that question. So, what should a sadhaka, a spiritual seeker should do? Ishvara sankalpamastu. Mind should think according to the Ishvaraha, his sankalpa alone, everything takes place. Tasmat sada hidhyatavyam sadakena prayatnataha. See, this also is not very easy. Why prayatna is given here? Because it is an effort to let go. We cannot give up. We don't like anyways, right? But that which we hold on to, thinking that it is all important for me to do it. How many of us would say, let the Lord take care of it? Our thinking is that everything is happening according to your wish. The fact that remains is to be understood is, before you came, the world was. After you leave, it is better. So you think that you are doing something here. How many people have come and gone? Do you think that the world has become better because of XYZ? No doubt they changed certain people, illustrious people, had improved the life of many beings. Science or spirituality, many fields where people have contributed, no doubt about that. But even before they came, it was there. After they leave also, the program continues. One person went to one sadhu Baba. This is said by Gurudev. I happened to see one of the letters of his. One sadhu Baba went to a palatial house. He went and then knocked at the door. So somebody opened, the servant opened. Yes, I want to talk to the owner of the house. Wait. The owner of the house came, a rich man. Yes. I want to stay here. What? I want to stay here. This is not a dharmashala. Everybody can come and stay here. No. Oh, it is your house. Yes. You built it? No, my father built it. Oh, where is he? He died. Oh, he built it? No, actually it was not built by him. His father built it. Where is he? He is also dead and gone. Oh. So people who are living here dead and gone, right? Yeah. So why are you saying it is yours then? You are also staying only for a short time? Let me also stay for a short time. You are also living in the dharmashala. I am also going to live in the dharmashala. That's all I do. Who owns this world? You tell me. In the same way, everything that we think as mine, for some time back, it was somebody else's. Your wife was somebody else's daughter to start with, and somebody else's mother to later on, and somebody else's mother-in-law. You have a particular relationship, and that relationship you maintain. Don't own it. You will be miserable. Any relationship for that matter is relative. It's not absolute. Anything also, it was with me before it was manifested, before shop owner as his own possession. I had it, after some time it will be somebody else's. So this you must understand, that everything finally belongs to him only. Ishwara sankalpamastu. This is not a defeatist mentality. Don't think like that. It's not a fatalistic, whatever you call it. No. It is, I am responsible for a short period of time. I do my best. After all, it was with him. It is always with him. His world is his. Shiva sankalpamastu. Idi. Te kripaya prabho manaha astu. May mind remain there like that. Tanme manas shiva sankalpamastu. May the mind remain in that condition. This way, savadhanataha, very carefully handle that mind. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyid dukkha bhad bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Again, write down what you have listened today. Going home, write in a small notepad or whatever, which you can refer to later, so that you would not forget. Even though you heard for 1.5 hours or whatever, only few things you listened, many things you heard. What you listened, you write down.
Hari Om. Hari Om. I'd like to try something different today. I would like to invite someone to 1 or 2 lines of summary of Swamiji has lectured today. So who